Each candidate will answer 6 questions. We'll alternate who's going to start each question. They're going to start off with a 3-minute introduction of themselves. We do have a timer sitting in the front row. They'll get 3 minutes to give themselves an introduction. Then we'll start asking questions. They'll get 3 minutes to answer each question. Then at the end, they're going to get 5 minutes to kind of give a little synopsis as what they think they're going to do for you. Okay, our moderator for tonight is Mr. Mark Brandenburg, who is a 2-time state rep, 2-time school board member, and 2-time county recorder. So he likes the number 2.
That's my limit.
Okay, right, yes. It is recording right now. It is recording to be on the YouTube channel or channel 22, whichever one you want. Okay? Ready, Mark? Let's go. Jason, you want to start?
We can. Hello, my name is Jason Gunderson, and I'm running for mayor. A little bit about myself. I'm a lifetime resident of Carter Lake. I've lived in Carter Lake with my girlfriend of 30 years. We have a 21-year-old daughter, and we've lived down here for our whole life. A little bit about my resume. I started out on the Board of Adjustments, did a term on the Board of Adjustments, and then Mayor Waltrip appointed me to finish out Ms. Schomer's term when she passed. And I was elected to a 4-year term on the city council. After that, I took a couple years off to follow my daughter's soccer. She went to college to play soccer, and she just had her last game last Sunday, actually. And then 2 years ago, I was elected to another 4-year term, all of which I've been on the council. I've been the mayor pro tem under Mayor Cumberledge. A few things I want to do when I get in office. Number one, one of the main reasons I wanted to run was to make sure that our new city administrator position had a chance to succeed. I wanted to help him get established and do anything I could to make sure that that's a success. I think that was something that our city needed, and I wanted to be able to work hand in hand with him to make sure that took off. Another thing I want to do, and he's actually started implementing it already, was a system to follow through on complaints. I feel like we took a lot of calls, and some of them got dropped. Nothing ever happened with some of them. Some of them just fell by the wayside. So now he's implemented a system on the website where you actually make your complaint or concern. He gets it, he passes it on, and then you'll get a reply email when something's been done with it or an update so some way to track and just make sure that things are being followed through on. Another main concern was in the first weeks of being mayor, one thing I want to do, and we did it one of my first years, was have a vision session at the beginning of the term. I feel like this last few years we've just been dragging in the mud. Like we need to get projects for everybody to work on and then have follow-ups with them all the time. Some can be like a short-term thing that happens quickly, but then some to work towards over the next months. But just a few things that I want to get done in my first year, and we'll see how it goes.
Hi, I'm Tim Mandolfo. I've lived in Carter Lake all my life. My parents moved here back in the 40s, and I have seven of us, my brothers and sisters. What else? I have 4 kids, like I said, their ages 35 to 50. And you guys probably all seen me out walking around. I walk with one of my dogs all the time. So you all know pretty much if you know who I am. And And when you see me out there walking, I'm pretty friendly. I can talk to anybody while I'm walking. So if you want to come up and say hi, I have no issues. I'm not a politician. I never have been into politics. I'm just a regular guy that lives in a club area. Like I said, I've lived there all my life. I love this town, and I want to see everybody again. I got to keep on reminding that I got to keep myself cool and keep it under control, because sometimes I have issues, and I am working on that. For you that have been here at the previous meetings, my concerns with the city are, they started a few years ago when I first came to the meetings. And my issues, they all started when I had to go to City Hall, just trying to get some answers. And instead of getting help, I ran into roadblocks time after time after time. When things didn't add up, I started asking for videos of what was going on, because I didn't agree with what was happening. All they did was kept on giving me excuses when I tried to get this kind of a video or that kind of a video. The work turns into months. Every time I asked for something, they would always give me a reason why I couldn't get it. And that's one of the main reasons I'm running for city council, because I've had nothing but luck. And that's when I started coming to these city council meetings, because I was having no luck. Okay. And what pushed me to be here is I just need some transparency. You know, I'm looking for transparency out of all of these people running. And I'll just finish by saying I'm not running for any political gain. I'm nothing but to prove and nothing to profit from any of this here. I just live in the club area. I've lived there all my life. I'm not in this for anything. I just would like to see the right thing happen to the citizens of Carter Lake, and I've been in Carter Lake forever, and I just would like to see it change.
30 seconds.
And I thank you guys.
Hello, my name is Matthew Seminar, born and raised as well, 46 years now. My parents, Julie, Gary Seminar, raised me down here. I've been invested in this town for a long time now. Just built a house 3 years ago. Lived there with my wife, Mandy, my daughter, Camden. I've been coming to city council meetings for a little while now. A lot of things that are concerning me is the council has a lot of great ideas. They just don't pursue them. I'm here to help do that. I'm here to listen to the residents and press forward on a lot of those good ideas. Our parks, we need to protect them. We need security down there. We need to know who's going in and out of there. That's one thing that I want to improve. Tackling the homeless, that's another thing I'd like to improve. And supporting our small local businesses, that's another thing I'd like to improve. That's it.
Thanks to everyone for showing up tonight. My name is Jackie Wall. Since I moved here approximately 20 years ago with my husband, we've become a strong part of this community through our connections with people from our church, serving on the planning board, and attending city council meetings. Over the years, we've been actively, I kind of have a cold, so it's hard for me to say my words right now, with participating, coaching, and sponsoring all ages of sports groups from youth through adults. In fact, just recently, my husband had a plaque dedicated to him over in the Council Bluffs ballparks, which is in the center on a pedestal. In the coming years, I would like to see the elected county members, the new mayor, and city administrator work together for more transparency. I think that's something that a lot of people complain about in the city, and find additional ways to keep the public informed, which is another frequent complaint, and involved other than what we are currently doing. We need to be more innovative in how we're communicating to the public. One suggestion that I spoke to our city administrator about this last week was maybe having a focus group that could get together and do it as representative of the different demographics in Carter Lake and talk about the best ways of getting information to everybody. I'm running because I'd like to have the opportunity to continue being a part of forming direction and updating policies while working with our new city administrator that are in the best interest of the residents, businesses, and organizations. Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for coming out. So, my name is Victor Skinner. I've been down here 64 years now. Oh, my God. Our whole family's been down here since the early 1900s. This is the end of my first 4 years as council, and I'd like to take on another 4 years. There's a few projects we have in the works that I'd like to see going forward, and that's our affordable housing, which right now we have the 55 and over building going. We got a triplex going. The fire department wants to do a remodel, revamp. I'd like to see that come through. Watch how Mr. Cameron Gales grows with our city and helps us out to get us into the transparent world of knowledge for everybody to know what's going on in the city. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. I just want to do another 4 years and continue with the projects I've been on. Like Jason said, we've got a lot of good going, and we just need to see them through. So thanks for coming out.
Okay, well, thank you very much. First, I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity, and it's a great turnout. It's good to see. First question goes to Jason. What are your thoughts on rental inspections in the past and in the future?
Excuse me, could you move your microphone a little closer?
Sure, thank you for telling me. Okay, I'll say it again. What are your thoughts on rental inspections in the past and in the future?
So the rental housing inspection program, we put that in probably 4 years ago. And it cost us a lot of money, and honestly, to get them inspected. And I'm a little disappointed in some of the follow-through on some of the inspections, honestly. But I have a rental house myself, and as a landlord, it irritates me that my house gets inspected, but all the ones around me can have all kinds of violations, look terrible, and they don't have to do anything. I don't think that's fair. I mean, I think the same standard should be held to every home in town, not just because it's a rental house doesn't mean it should be held. I mean, all houses should be held to a high standard, not just rental houses. That'll be one thing that I will be pushing for when I'm in as a mayor is all of our ordinances need to be upheld. It's not going to just be a complaint basis anymore. It's going to be if you don't mow your grass when it's a foot tall, we're going to mow it. I mean, if all of our ordinances are there for a reason, most of the issues we have in town, there's a ordinance to fix it. They're just going to have to be enforced. But as far as the rental houses, it's a good program. Like, it's good that we have an inspection program. We do need to follow through more on it. Or if we're not going to follow through on it, we need to look at whether we should keep it or not. But it's not, like I say, as a landlord and a neighbor, like, it's not really fair that just the rental houses get inspected and every other house on the block can just be whatever it is. Thanks.
Okay, the next question's for Matthew. It's the same question, but the next person is Matthew. What are your thoughts on rental inspections in the past and in the future?
First thing that comes to mind is, as Jason said, I don't think the city follows up, pursues on the inspections. I've had a rental property the last 10 years, and nobody's ever done anything. Never been inspected one time. That's sad if we have that, and I've never even been called out on it. The ordinances down here, once again, we need to pursue them if you got to follow the rules. I also agree with Jason when it comes to your neighbor. I mean, everybody should be set to the same standards, especially with the grass, the yards. Somebody else's house shouldn't devalue your house. I'd love to see the program if it's successful or not, but if there's a program, I think we need to follow through with it. Thank you.
Okay, now it's Victor. What are your thoughts on rental inspections in the past and in the future?
Well, I have owned several rental properties, and only a very few of them have ever been inspected. I was not for the program to start with, and I'm still not for the program. They inspected one of my houses, gave me a whole list of what was wrong. I redid it all. They never came back. I have another house that said, your paint is peeling. You need to have this house painted. But yet the houses, as Jay and Matt said, everything else around you looks the same. So if you're owner occupied, you can live in a dump. But if it's a rental house, we have to keep it to the highest standards. And as everybody knows, renters don't keep stuff up. So this rental program, there's of us that keep our rental houses up and abide by the rules, even though we don't get inspected. And then there's other people that own houses and they do nothing. And there's a lot of out-of-town people that own houses. So my real opinion about the rental inspection is I would like it to go away. Thank you.
Tim, what are your thoughts on rental inspections in the past and in the future?
I've owned my own house for 50 years, so I'm not really too much into the rental issues. I agree with what the other 3 or 4 are saying. I have 3 rental houses, though, on my block, and they're owned by the same person. Their lawns are not being taken care of. They look pretty bad, the homes, and it's the city's responsibility, as far as I'm concerned, to tell them to clean up their house. I mean, if you drive around Carter Lake, you'll see houses that are, windows are boarded up and doors are boarded up, and, you know, I know they complain about houses, but let's complain about everybody's houses, not only certain individuals in Carter Lake. Let's pick on all the people with the bad houses, you know. And this is rental houses or the regular houses, doesn't matter if it's a rental or not. The ordinances that you guys are talking about, they're not being followed by certain citizens because the city lets certain citizens ignore those ordinances, but they go after other people. And that's pretty much all I got to say on that one.
Jackie, what are your thoughts on rental inspections in the past and in the future?
I agree with the part about follow-up. I don't feel that there's the kind of follow-up that we should have. A few years ago, I had a party call me and ask why nobody had come back to look at her house again because it had failed. And this was 2 months after the inspector had been in it. And there were things like water leaking in over an outlet, black mold in the house, and there was one other thing. And so the follow-up, it took another 3 months before it was actually set up to have another inspection on the house. I also don't feel that we have done a very good job of keeping an accurate list of all the rental properties in town. I do favor the program because I think it came about after a terrible fire over in Council Bluffs, and I think that's why they started it over there. And some people died because of poor upkeep on an apartment building. And like Victor said, we have some very good landlords that do a great job, and sometimes I think they're over-harassed, and then we have some that do a very poor job, and they seem to still get away with not keeping up the properties that well. I also would like to have included in enforcing ordinances. I think we should be able to go to the trailer park and enforce the ordinances for the yards and everything else, just like we do the other places in town. That's it.
Okay. The next question is for Matthew. What are your ideas on keeping parks in our city safe?
You know, the council had some really good ideas this last year on it. And just following up on those ideas, I think we need to do something about it. There was a lot of talk about cameras. There's talk about more police activity down there. Maybe having residents that can pay a yearly fee to use those parks would be severely discounted, and the non-residents, charge a little bit more. I've gone to a lot of the parks to go fishing and whatnot, and when I go to those parks to use their docks or use their swimming area, I'm an out-of-stater and I got to pay more money to use that park. Like I said, a lot of the council had a lot of good ideas, but nothing ever followed up. Let's follow up, listen to the residents, and get some ideas and follow up on them.
Victor?
Yeah, our parks are well used, as we know, the Fireman's Park and Wave Crest. And once we had the officers driving through on a more timely manner, things seem to have gotten a little better. I don't believe you can charge for city parks, but they do charge for state parks, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But any sort of a fee, it'd be really hard for us to do that. We'd have to have someone down to collect or watch the cars or something of that nature. We did put gates up down at the Fireman's Park again. It closes, I believe it's 10 o'clock. And that's helped quite a little bit. But I like to see our parks being used, and as long as the police keep visual on them, I think we'll be all right. Thank you.
Tim, what are your ideas on keeping the parks in the city safe?
When you go through either one of our parks, they're full of Omaha residents, and I don't think there's nothing we can really do about it. But I would say, agree with what you said, but when I lived down in Florida, they had beaches and they had residential parking, which they put a sticker. All the citizens got paid you might have to pay like $5 a year, and they put a sticker on your window, and we got to park in a special place where the rest of the citizens had to park other places, and they had to pay for it. But I don't know why we cannot have any kind of a park sticker where we're allowed to get in, and the non-residents cannot park where us residents should be able to park. You should have a place where Card Lake residents, you have a sticker on your car, others. And that will eliminate quite a bit of the outed people coming into our parks. And another reason about our parks is the city keeps on putting tons of money into our parks, and we don't use them, where they're used by, I take my dogs to Fireman's Park, through the park in my truck. In the summertime, I can barely get through either one of the parks because there's double parking, triple parking. Go down by the boat park ramp, there's people fishing, we can't dock our boats. That's pretty much it.
Jackie, what are your ideas on keeping the parks in the city safe?
I think the parks need to be made safer for the residents. We put the gates up, but I haven't seen them used once since they were put in place last year, and I have seen over parking in the park that's behind my house through the summer at times, where the cars were on the grass, etc. I know the police are working on enforcement of trying to do something with the homeless that are sleeping in the parks, but they're not always going to see them, so they would like it, I think, if people would report these people that are sleeping in different areas in public places throughout Carter Lake, if they would let them know so they can remove them. I think that's one of the few things that they are able to do that's not against the law. I agree that I think we could use the cameras in the park. And we have the police go through the parks regularly, but somehow there needs to be a better way of seeing that people are drinking and doing drugs in these parks. I'd also like to see a time limit. I'd like to see the parks empty before it gets dark, so that they can't be going into these parks and parking. I've heard there's drug dealings going on. And one time, a couple of years ago, I saw a young girl. She looked to be about 8. It was about 9:30. It was completely dark. I saw her leaving the park in the dark by herself, walking out to Q Street to go down the street in her swimsuit. And I thought, if this little girl was in a park with strangers after dark, anything could have happened to her. So I'd like to see the parks emptied before it gets dark. I think we need new signage, because we have boats that are going into Wavecrest that are putting their jet skis in. And I thought at one time there used to be a sign that you couldn't put anything in there.
1 minute.
But there isn't any longer. And the boats and the jet skis come and they park in the swimming area instead of staying outside of it, which is a danger for the other people that are in that area. So I think it's an important issue.
Jason,
Yeah, I mean,
what are your ideas on keeping the parks in the city safe?
the most effective thing that we've done was when we stationed an officer at them. The problem with the tag in the windows is then you have to have somebody go check it, and then if you find a car that doesn't have the right tag, the officer said they could sit there for a couple hours waiting for a tow truck to come and deal with the tag that's not. So you're almost just as well just to man an officer at the parks. The good part about our parks being full all the time is everybody wants to use them. I mean, our parks, we have nice parks. People want to come and use them. If the same thing was happening in an Omaha park and our citizens went there and were charged more fees, our citizens would freak out. Like, our citizens want to be able to use everything equally, yet they don't want other people to come use ours. I mean, and I get it. Like, I get their concerns, but we have to somehow manage and figure out the right medium to, whether it's just in the busy times of years, maybe we just have to staff them with the officer or even the cameras. Unless somebody's sitting there watching the camera all the time, you're not going to see. You might as well have somebody just be at the park. I mean, you can't have an officer drive around town all night and watch his iPad to see when an event's happening at the park. There's not a easy, excellent solution to the problem, but we can definitely work towards something.
The next question is for Victor. What is your vision for the city of Carter Lake in the future?
Well, I want to see it keep growing. We're doing a little bit of a work and study to see about getting a grocery store down here, keep some small businesses going. I've grew up down here 60-some years. I got a brother who's been there 70-some years, like I say, my entire family. We just need to keep the entire city moving forward. Don't start sliding back. We're doing a good job. We have our infrastructures pretty well under control. Little street maintenance here and there now. So I guess my full-on vision would be maybe to get Locust Street cleaned up and get some more, maybe little pop-up businesses that we could attempt to support. Not saying we would or we would not. And the possibility of getting a decent grocery store that would not only serve us, but Omaha residents also.
Tim, what is your vision for the city of Carter Lake in the future?
For the future of Carter Lake, I've been here 70 years, and I grew up on a dirt road, and only the club area had houses, and everything else was cornfields. So my actual thing is, I really think Carter Lake is really, really, really nice place now. We have all the new homes. I just think like Vic said, Locust Street should be cleaned up, the car lots. I mean, you have semis out there, if you go to any little city, the main strip looks really nice. And we really do need a store. You know, all we have is a dollar store. We have to go to Council Bluffs, and for the size of Carter Lake, we should actually have a grocery store that we can actually attend to. Every other city does but us. That's all I really get. I just think Carter Lake is really, I've lived here all my life, and I think it's really nice. I have no issues with the city itself. I think it's really up to date, and like I said, I've been here all these years, and I like it. That's why I'm still here.
Jackie, what is your vision for the city of Carter Lake in the future?
I would like to help develop a strong budget, which I think can, not a budget, but help our tax levy and the base that we pay by bringing in new housing apartments and other developments. And I think that by bringing in more into the city, that we're going to help attract people from outside. But another issue I think that we have to deal with is the homeless, because for a new business to come in, it makes it hard for them to want to come in and have people hanging out around their business like they do down at Casey's. I think we have to figure out how we can enforce that, but still at the same time support the homeless somehow. And I'd like to see more restaurants offering different types of food than what we currently have. Some sort of grocery store, like mentioned, with possibly a pharmacy in it. I'd like to see the green space developed between the community center and the school, so it serves as a central hub for Carter Lake, because we don't have that kind of space like other cities do, where they have a town square or courthouse square. And I think it would be a good place to bring the community together. It would include a walking trail, an amphitheater for concerts, and a place that can be utilized by the classes from the school, an arboretum with a rain garden and native plants, as well as seating throughout along the trail. And there would also be space for the families and community activities. But with more sources of revenue, if we bring in more sources of revenue, we can keep our taxes lower and maybe be able to do some of this stuff.
1 minute remaining.
Okay.
Jason, what is your vision for the future of the city of Carter Lake?
A few things going on and coming up. Right now, we're finishing up our water valve project we're working on. In the near future, I'd hope to start working on a storm sewer project. Start building a storm sewer in town so we can get rid of some of the standing water all over town. Another thing I'd like to start working towards is an underground power lines. I've talked with OPPD a little bit about that in the past, and as part of that, building a fiber internet network down here. One of our citizens and I met with a company a year ago or so and tried to get them to start working on that, but it didn't come through, but we still got to keep working towards that. Another thing that Cameron and I have talked about is getting all of our streets on a schedule for resurfacing at some point in the future. We need to somehow rank them and figure out which ones need first, sooner and later, and get them all on a schedule so every year it's not just, all right, we're going to put this much money out there and try to figure out what streets to do. We need to actually have a plan and plan it out ahead of time instead of just on a whim at the end. I agree with Jackie. I think the green space project that we designed a few years ago for behind the community center, I know down in Malvern they have a band once a week, maybe twice a month. They have a band in their green space area, and they bring in a bunch of food trucks, and it's just a community building event. Like, bring the band in, have the food trucks, have a small gathering a couple times a month, just to bring the community together. I think it'd be a good space to do all that. That's just a few ideas.
Matthew, what is your vision for the future of the city of Carter Lake?
A couple things that come to mind. listening to the residents when they come up to the meetings and they have ideas and they have plans, and listening to their thoughts. There's a lot of people that come up here every month, and we just want to listen to them a little bit more. Of course, our city parks that we mentioned earlier, our ballparks, our baseball fields. We have a lot of volunteers that go there on a regular basis and help out. It sounds like they need a little bit of help. Let's help out with our ball fields. I grew up on them ball fields. You know, I played a lot of baseball down here when I was a younger kid, so giving back to them is going to help out as well. Improving our ordinances, once again, following up on things. That's it.
Tim, do you have any plans of attack to keep the homeless from wandering around town all hours of the day and night?
I live in a club area, and I didn't know there was a lot of homeless running around until I was at a meeting a couple of weeks ago. I don't really go up by Fireman's Park in the nighttime where you guys were talking about the issues, but I don't know what you can do about the homeless people. I really don't have an answer for you. I don't know what to say.
Jackie, do you have any plans of attack to keep the homeless from wandering around the town all hours of the day and night?
I think the city definitely realizes that we have a problem with the homelessness in this community, and we need to help them, but we can't make it less safe for those who are already living here. There's some things that are already in the works. The city administrator has been meeting with our chief of police and with the Open Mission to work on strategies, and then he formed a Carter Lake collaboration group, which I was invited to participate on with Jacob and Jason, but it includes leaders from Carter Lake, Boys and Girls Club, Council Bluffs, and Omaha, the Inland Port Authority. And the purpose is to partner with leaders so that they can work together as surrounding communities and meet and coordinate community activities and services. And some of the issues that they expect to be working on are the homelessness, crime, and cleaning up the cities around. Another thing that can be done legally, because the police are limited, which I mentioned earlier, is they can remove the people who are sleeping and camping in the parks for trespassing on private property. Other ways we can address is possibly passing some new codes and enforcement for trespassing and intoxication, pushing drugs and alcohol treatment, and requiring IDs for them. They found out in some of the, I think over in Council Bluffs, that some of these people, if they check their IDs, they found out that there are some that are pedophiles and so forth. We need to continue building our relationships in Omaha to try to get better enforcement at Kiwanis Park. And another thought that somebody mentioned was that possibly getting rid of the big blocks down Locust Street might help, because that's a resting place for the homeless as they're walking down the street. Most of all, we just need to make sure we're providing a safe environment and making sure at the same time that everybody has their rights.
Jason, do you have any plans of attack to keep the homeless from wandering around town all hours of the day and night?
I mean, homelessness is a rising issue in every community in the country right now, and where we're located is a very difficult spot. Our police do an excellent job. Being located between the Open Door Mission and the Sienna Francis House, where they eat every day, everybody has to go from the Mission to the Francis House every day to eat, and that means they have to cross our property to get there, or through Carter Lake. And I actually think Carter Lake Police do a very good job of keeping them under control. Obviously, if they're out committing crimes or anything, if that gets reported, our police will take care of it. I mean, nobody likes to see people sleeping on the benches and here and there, but we also have to stay within the law, and they're still people. I mean, we still have to, if they're just at the park, you can't just kick them out of the park just to kick them out of the park. It's difficult, but I think our police do an excellent job, and if somebody has an issue, they'll take care of it.
Is that it?
Yep, sorry.
Matthew, do you have any plans of attack to keep homeless from wandering our town all hours of the day and night?
I couldn't agree with Jason more in the police department. They're doing a great job. I try to reach out to a couple of them all the time and either chit chat. I've had questions. I've asked what their thoughts were. What do you think we can do to improve the homelessness down here? And it goes, I think their hands are tied. I think we need to reach out to Omaha, our neighboring city, and ask questions of what they've been doing, and their success and what they can do and what they cannot do. A lot of people keep coming together on Kiwanis Park. I don't know, maybe as a council or the mayor can reach out to the city of Omaha and say, hey, can we put a time frame on that park? Can we put when that park closes down, can we do it at nighttime or early in the morning? You know, questions we can just reach out to Omaha and ask them, what can we do to help each other out moving forward?
Victor, do you have any plans of attack to keep homeless from wandering our town all hours of the day and night?
Well, a lot of the wanderers through the night are not homeless. They are residents down there. They're just out looking to cause mischief. But the homeless, like Jason said, it's a growing problem everywhere. Omaha is working on right now, if you can have an encampment, you can't have an encampment. So far, knock on wood, we have not had to suffer any of the large encampments in the city itself. We've had some on our Iowa property on the other side of the lake over here. The police try to do the best they can. They try to run them out, but as we all know, they're not just a throwaway piece of human. They are humans. They have rights. We have no ability down here to help anybody. We don't have a shelter or anything like that. So we'd have to take them to Council Bluffs or to Omaha to try to get them the help they need. I don't know if we can even take them straight down to the Mission if they're in need, because a lot of times they'll just flop down on the ground and our ambulance has to take them to the hospital. And that's usually out of the Casey's parking lot. But as far as the wanderers, I believe our police do a very good job at that. Even though they're understaffed, we need to get some more police, and I think they'll make it better for us.
Okay, new question. This goes to Jackie. If there was one new use of taxpayer dollars, what would you spend or use it on, and why?
Could you repeat that?
Sure. If there was one new use of taxpayer dollars, what would you spend or use it on, and why?
Thank you.
There's so much. One thing I would like to see would be more of the history displayed throughout Carter Lake. I'd like to see the club area restored to something like just so with signs and things so that it has some of the history that's shown as you walk through it, and the rain gardens along the way, have those functional, and maybe put some historical signs along the trail that could talk about some of the things that happened throughout Carter Lake or some of the things that used to be here. I'd like to have some sort of place, and I had thought about this when I was on the building committee for the community center, to have an area on some of the walls or somewhere where they could display some of the, just displays of the history, to show some of the things that represent the past. And I know we've talked about doing that down at the old senior center. But, or even here in City Hall, we could have some of that. So, yeah, a way to show the history.
Jason, if there was one new use of taxpayer dollars, what would you spend or use it on and why?
I mean, I still think that our green space project behind the community center is could be one of our most valuable projects. If you look at our one day a year that all of our town feels like a community is the city parade day, when we have fireworks and everybody's together at the parks. And I think that place can be a place where people can come together and, not just for the concerts or the food trucks, but our town don't have, a grave site or place to be buried. I'm going blank right now, but
Cemetery.
we don't have a cemetery. And one of the things that I wanted to see at that space was a memorial type wall or something where people could buy a plaque or bricks or something. It hasn't been designed by or anything, but that was something that was kind of part of that project was a memorial type wall where people could be remembered or. I really think that project is something that will be very good for our community.
Matthew, if there was one new use of taxpayer dollars, what would you spend or use it on and why?
I kind of question the reason why our staff or our police department, if we always need more, are we not paying them enough? Are we not giving them enough back? That would be one thing that I would look into and see where we stand on that. Rain gardens, I've heard this from quite a few residents down here. I actually personally went down there and looked at them. They need major attention. And I would say on Locust Street there, when you're going up and down it, all the overgrown, the rocks that are in there, maybe having an idea of removing all of that and just put a median in so it's less maintenance. It's going to save taxpayers money when it's all said and done. So,
Victor, if there was one new use of taxpayer dollars, what would you spend or use it on and why?
Well, I guess if I was gonna have to spend my money to do anything to make great improvements to the city, other than enlarging the police force, we have to get our maintenance guys, get them up to speed, get enough maintenance guys, parks guys, spend the money in that area so we don't have to farm out no work, no anything. Get our lawn mowing guys out, get the street guys out, do our own work, build our maintenance division up to what it should be. And then my second goal would be to enlarge the water park, our little splash pad, because that gets used more than any park it's the park that our citizens really use. Our citizens don't really go to Wavecrest, they really don't go to Fireman's, but the kids do come to the splash pad. So I would enlarge that. That's it.
Tim, if there was one new use of taxpayer dollars, what would you spend or use it on and why?
First of all, I would agree with these guys that it would go for the police for more police on the street. I know they're having issues with hiring police, but still, that would be my main issue. Considering I live in the club area, the rain gardens, the lakefront, which would be north of the crosswalk in front of the lake, from the east end to the west end, that is all solid rock. When we were younger, that used to be a beach. We had docks, beach area, all kinds of stuff like that. I would like to see, there is city property down there that does not have any rock in front of it, in front of 5051 Carter Lake Club. I would like to see that opened up and let the kids go back to the swimming like it used to be. And when they put that rock in there, they told us they were going to put a boat dock in many years ago, and I believe that boat dock is still over in the scrapyard over the city, whatever you call it, the city, wherever they keep the city stuff at. That dock's been there, it's probably all rusted. But I actually think the rain gardens in the club area are really in bad shape. I walk by there every day and you have weeds growing up. I've complained to the city. I had no luck. Yeah, I just think the residents in the club area, there used to be everybody here, Jason, Victor, we all used to swim in the club area. They came in and took out our docks because they wanted to make it they didn't want to make it a recreational lake anymore. And I really think they should put a boat dock in, because if we use I have a boat, many of us have boats in the club area. If we take our boat out, if we have to go to the bathroom, do anything, we have to take our boat back out of the water and go back home instead of parking it in the club area, which that's why we moved there 50 years ago. Not to have somebody come up and decide to dump rock on our shoreline and cut the lake off from us. That's why we moved there. So I would love to see the water, just to let everybody know, there is no, when you walk on the lakefront, that's all city property. There was no entrance to the lake in the club area whatsoever. And it used to be 100% open. Now it is all rock. We can't even take our dogs walking in the water. That's pretty much it. I just wish they would do something with the lake, with the dock, and with the people go swimming, instead of worried about the other two parks where the Card Lake kids do not go. Let them
30
go in the lake.
seconds. Did
I'm
it?
done.
This is the last question. Jason, how will you make sure citizens' voices are heard and city decisions are transparent?
One way one of their voices to be heard is through the concern line on the website. When they have a concern, through that they'll get a response. They'll get a answer on what processes were taken, who took care of it, and what happened. As far as transparency, I mean, that's hopefully that's what we brought in the city administrator to help clean up. I think there's definitely people that think that it's not transparent, but a lot of those same people don't come to meetings. I mean, all of our meetings are open unless we have an executive session, that whether it's real estate or employee issue or something like that. But all of our meetings are open to the public. And hopefully with our city administrator, that'll clear up any other issues with transparency. Thanks.
Matthew, how will you make sure citizens' voices are heard and city decisions are transparent?
Once again, just listening to the residents that are voicing their opinion. I mean, it doesn't only have to be inside, this chamber. It's talking to the people up and down the street, seeing them at the gas station. A lot of people get nervous or scared, or they come to these meetings and it's hard for them to voice their opinion. But talking to different city employees, our police department, our council, our mayor, and then those voices can be heard. The council can voice their opinions here. Like I said before, I'm here to listen to the people and voice their opinion here moving forward. So that's it.
Victor, how will you make sure citizens' voices are heard and city decisions are transparent?
Well, for the last 4 years that I've been on the council, on the weekends when I'm out mowing, seems to be a lot of traffic stops at my house to voice their opinions of what's going on and what they'd like to see, or the morning meetings at the quick shop with the residents when, like Matt said, they want to talk about things, but they don't want to talk about things. They want you to handle it for them. And just to listen to them well. Don't just give them an answer, but look into it, see what you can do for them, what they can do for you. Maybe they can help on the other side even. But like I said, for 4 years, my garage has been wide open, and I've had a lot of people come and go. And as far as the transparency, I'm not quite sure how this new text in your complaint to the city administrator is going to work out, because a lot of people down here that are of the upper age group, they do not text and cell phone and stuff like that, and they have as many concerns as any of us, so I like to listen to the seniors also. So listen to the seniors, stop by my house, and I'll listen to whatever you got to say and maybe have a beverage.
Tim, how will you make sure citizens' voices are heard and city decisions are transparent?
Sure. I might have said a little bit of this earlier, but I'm going to repeat it. With me personally on the citizens' voice and transparency, with me it started a few years back when I had some issues with the city. I went down to City Hall a few times just trying to get some answers, but instead of help, all I ran into was frustration and confusion. Over time, I started noticing a pattern with the city, lack of transparency, limited access to my information. That this is actually what I requested, and inconsistency of the cameras being put on. I heard somebody say about the cameras, the recordings in public spaces and meetings. What you guys are hearing is not exactly correct. These cameras have no audio to them. They're only picture, they're only video. So if somebody's saying these are camera and video, they are not in the offices. It's only in this room. And for our voice of things that should be simple to just open to the public, they're not. When I started going to city council meetings, I wanted to ask questions face to face to see how things really worked out. But the more I went to all these meetings, the more I realized that the regular citizens were not being heard, and that parts of the process weren't being followed the way they're supposed to be. I'm not blaming anybody on up here, but it's about fairness and accountability, which is not taking place. When our meetings are edited, when residents can't get information from our leaders, people are out before they can speak. What I mean by that is we're trying to speak and they kind of pretty much shut us off or they edit us. That's not transparency for Carter Lake.
1 minute.
That's not how a community should work. I'm not running to attack anybody or stir up any drama. I'm running because I'm firsthand. I've been frustrated, and the people aren't really treated equally here in this city. And I want to make every resident get the same access, the same respect, and the same everything. And we're not. I just want respect from the offices.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm just asking, and the other thing is, these cameras up here are supposed to be left on until after the meetings are over, and they're not. And that's all I really have to say.
Jackie, how will you make sure citizens' voices are heard and city decisions are transparent?
I think our city administrator, that he's starting to give us monthly reports at our council meetings. I think that will share a little bit of what's going on with the public. And like Jason said, the complaint form, I've been pretty pleased with. Before, people were so afraid to fill out a complaint form because they were afraid that their names would be, that they'd be identified. But with this new form, it only shows the email of the person who's applying, and our city administrator is the only one who sees it. So, and I had quite a few people since I've shared that, the online form, that have already used it. So I'm hoping that that helps. Our meetings are videotaped, but a lot of older people don't really go online and to watch videos on the internet. And the same with Facebook. Facebook, we use it way too much, and I had a talk with Cameron, and he said that that's one thing that he wants to get away from, is posting so much of our information on Facebook. So he's working on another way to present the information and get it out to the people. I'd also like to see something like Channel 22 up and running again, because I know a lot of people that just sit home and watch TV, and they actually watch that channel, but most of the time it's not working. So I think that if we use that to post a lot of what's going on, it would meet a certain demographic of people that aren't getting information right now. That's it.
Okay, that concludes the formal questions. Now the candidates will have 5 minutes to share their final thoughts. We're going to start with Victor.
I want to thank everybody again for coming out tonight and supporting everyone. Hopefully, we have a really good voter turnout. The general election, or I guess it wasn't the general, the primary, I thought we had a pretty light turnout. I'd like to see more voters turn out. That way, you do vote for your voice. You're just not a keyboard warrior, getting honest. I'd like to continue for the next 4 years, like I said previously, to see some of these projects go forward, see how our administrator is going to work out for us, get the affordable housing moving along, get just housing period down here is very short. Get our police staff back where they belong, see if we can get the fire department up and running for their new building, because they do a lot. They run, our ambulance runs more than once a day, every day through the year. So they need some adequate facilities. So there's some new laws about the firefighters when you come from a fire, that you have to be decontaminated. We have nothing for them. So if they go into a fire and they come home, they can bring the carcinogens home to their own family, which is not good. As we know from the towers falling down now, firefighters are dropping like flies from being there. Overall, I'd like to see our infrastructure maintained now that we have it pretty well going forward and in good shape. Looking forward to hopefully working with Jason as mayor. And what else we got going? Get our parks all cleaned back up, get our mowing crews back like we had them. Maybe zone off the parks. If you guys take care of this park, if you guys take care of that park, get a little pride back in their work. Other than that, I want everyone to come out and vote for whatever you think is right to keep our city moving forward, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Tim, your final thoughts?
Yeah. So the reason I'm running is because I believe that every voice should matter, not just the ones behind the desk. And I believe in transparency, big time. Real communications, not editing meetings, or half of the truth. And I believe in accountability. Everybody up here should be held in accountability. Decisions should be made in the open, not behind closed doors where we don't know what's being said behind the doors about us or about you. Everybody can see what's going on, which we're not seeing. Everybody here probably knows me. I'm not a fancy person. I'm not polished. I'm definitely not perfect, as everybody knows. But I do listen, and I care about the citizens, my friends, Carter Lake. I have no personal agenda other than running for the folks that have been brushed off in the city of Carter Lake by your elected previous officials. The ones who show up and still don't get a straight answer, I'm one of those. For the people who just want some plain old common sense, we don't have any common sense with a lot of this in the city hall. I'm not running for power or any politics. I'm just running for you guys. Whether I win or lose, I will be the same guy that you guys knew previous to this election. I only threw my name in because I was having issues. Now I'm just going off script. I just ran because I was having issues, so I decided to come here and let you guys know how I feel. As I said, I'm not political. There's no gain for me whatsoever running for you guys. I'm here for you guys only. I don't have nothing but me and my dog. We walk around. I'm retired. I don't work. I have all day. You guys want to come complain to me? Come complain. I love people complaining. I love to listen to complaining. If you don't know me, I love to hear it. That's really all I have to say. So I just want to tell everybody, thank you so much for everybody putting me in the top 4, which I still can't believe I'm in. Thank to all of you for voting me. I thank Carter Lake for putting your trust in me. And that's pretty much all. I just want to tell everybody, thank you so much for putting me in the top 4. It's something, that accomplishment that I would, 2 months ago, I never thought about even running. So that's pretty much all I have to do. And if anybody out there, please give me your vote. I'd really accept it, because I don't expect ending up in the top 2, but I'd love to. And thank you, everybody, and I appreciate it from all of you.
Jackie,
Yeah,
your
good evening.
final thoughts?
I want to thank Kiwi for setting up tonight's event, giving us an opportunity to share our ideas. Mark Brandenburg for being here as our moderator, and the representatives throughout this group here that helped pick out the questions tonight. I'd like to thank everybody else for taking the time to be here tonight, and those who will be watching at home. If I'm elected, I feel my job is to serve the public, looking at whatever is presented impartially and voting according to the values, needs, and desires of the residents. I don't just go along with the group. I like to research, look at why something is the way that they do, and look at the other options before I make my decisions. I want to offer what I consider my strengths. One of my strengths, I think, is organizing and getting new events that benefit the city. Some of the events that I've started over the last few years, or things that I've accomplished, have been, I initiated and drafted the social media and city administrator ordinances, the job descriptions, the 23-page profile of Carter Lake for American Bloom, and completed and received several smaller grants through the Potawatomi Foundation. I was the original organizer of the Winter Festival beginning in 2019. After the first year, we received a sponsorship with OPPD, and they provide trucks and manpower to help put up the lights around City Hall. It has grown to where last year we had 70-some volunteers and over 400 attendees participate. I was chairman of the Green Space Committee to develop the green space surrounding the community center and school, and worked with American Bloom on a $25,000 grant that we received. I supported the Boys and Girls Club through donations and by serving as a judge for the Youth of the Year. With the help of the Carter Lake Preservation Society, I recruited and organized volunteers for our Carter Lake cleanup and volunteered during the original plantings of the rain gardens. I was chairman for the pollination workshops geared to educating both children and adults in the importance of native plants and pollinators. And what I considered one of my biggest accomplishments was spending considerable time researching Carter Lake ordinances and Iowa code for myself and others, while finding changes that needed to be made to be compliant. And then I spent time comparing the updated municipal code of 900 and some pages with the outdated one, making several corrections that needed to be made. After meeting with our city attorney, they were all added to in an amendment in September. So I promise to be accessible for everybody. I plan on listening to anybody. Your vote makes a difference and your opinion matters. I hope I can have your support on November 4th to continue serving the citizens of Carter Lake. Thank you.
Jason, your final thoughts?
I also would like to thank Kiwi for putting this on tonight, and Mark for coming and moderating it, and all the audience that showed up. I also want to thank all of you guys that ran for election. It's not really fun to go through an election. I mean, it's nerve-wracking, and it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, but so does this job. So it's just get you started for it. Remind everybody to vote Tuesday. It's from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. right here at City Hall. I appreciate your vote and your support, and look forward to 4 good years. Thank you.
Matthew, your final thoughts?
Yep, follow up. Thanks for everyone for showing up. Thank you, Mark, and everybody that's watching. I feel the new city administrator is going to be a good thing for the city. I've never met him before, but coming to the last city council meeting, he's very easygoing, it seems like. He doesn't get hot-headed real quick. I think that's a good thing for the city. I think he's got some great ideas. I'm anxious to see the ideas that are going to come in the future. And once again, our city parks, I strongly feel like we need to get some ideas together for our kids to use these parks and our residents to use these parks. There's too many non-residents using these parks. And the reason why these non-residents are using our parks is because of what Jason said earlier. Our parks are awesome. You know, they're well taken care of. They're maintained. They're great. With our fire department, our police department, let's give them the tools they need to do their jobs. Let's listen to them. Let's ask questions. November 4th, get out and vote. Thank you.
Okay, that kind of wraps things up. I'd like to thank Kibi for asking me to be the moderator. When I was a state representative, I represented Carter Lake. Got to know a lot of you, and it's an awesome city. You guys have done a lot with it. I'd also like to thank the candidates for running. It's tough. It takes a sacrifice. I don't know, I've had 7 or 8 elections of my own over the years, and it's just not real easy to do. You got to get out there and convince the people, and so I think that's great that they're stepping up. I'd also like to thank the representatives that they picked to go back and help pick these or select these questions. They did a great job, and I appreciated their help. And so thank you all for coming. Kiwi?
I just want to basically mimic what these guys said. Thank everybody that showed up. Kind of hoping for a full house, but it don't look like we got it. I want to thank Karen for keeping time for me. And these guys, if they want to, they can stick around here. If anybody's got any other questions for them and they want to stick around and answer it, they're more than welcome to do it. Once again, thanks, Mark. Candidates, thank all you guys. Good luck on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Vote. Thank you, guys.
I just wanted to say thank you to Kiwi and thank you to Mark, because I didn't previously, and to the audience that are watching on TV. Thank you.
This was recorded also.